Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Transport Fever, and we're outside Thun, where we put a great deal of work in last time around, with no real profitability out the other side of it. It needed updating and modernising in order to be ready for the next generation of development. But at the current time, we haven't done anything that will actually improve cash coming in. Now, several of you observed that I had failed to properly reconnect my road transit route at the end of the last episode, so I have now done that. However, it does come with one small problem, and following this chap along here will give you an indication of what the problem is. We will follow along for a moment, and then because the following in itself will lead to quite a delay, I'll skip forward and I'll show you the punchline. However, suffice to say, we've made this truck, which fundamentally supports the transit of lumber, we've made his journey quite a bit longer, and not for the better. But we'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, in today's episode, I need to introduce something that's going to make a bit of cash. My goodness me, that's a tall bridge. That's quite fetching, I suppose, but it is quite tall nonetheless. Yes, I have now added the much-awaited gameplay patch, and we'll probably see a few of those features. As a matter of course, I'm not going to go through them in detail in this episode. Might do in the future, but in this episode, we will just press on and try and make a bit of cash. Right, enough rambling here. Let's show you the route. So where we started out from over here, I'm trying very hard to avoid spoiling what is quite a majestic punchline. We start out over here where people are dropping off lumber. As you can see, there's a bit of a queue, and that queue has come about because I removed the route that it had been using previously. And then from here, we head up the road, and then we cross under the rail bridge for heading under this bridge. And then we continue on our journey. We do a bit of a pickup or a drop off here on occasion because that's a nice thing to do. We're usually bringing goods back from the docks at that point. Anyway, we carry on, and then we go around here. See, I'm even sporting it in a point of view kind of fashion before having to do a circuit underneath in order to get over the bridge, to get over the river, and then we are heading out into the wilds to go pick up some more lumber here at Locarno North. That's a ridiculous route. And you know, if I do it zoomed out, I'll even change the colour so you can see it a little better. There we go. Yeah, yellow should do the trick. So from here we go out and we go around under and over, whereas over here would seem to be a slightly more direct route. It really depends what the relationship it has with Thun Exchange here is going to be, because we definitely stop off there. The question is, what are we packing? What have you got there? Nothing at the moment. Now, I would imagine that possibly tools, possibly something along those lines is what we're packing. But frankly, we need a bridge. Thun is already the city of bridges. One more really isn't going to make a whole heap of difference. But we'll try and go from here over to there. And actually, we've done that without it being heinously expensive. Can we get under? Yes, we can get under. Well, everything's glorious then. We'll make a nice modern steel bridge here for £500,000. No, it's not the cheapest use of money that we've ever seen, but it should do the job. Don't terrain alignment me the college. I was operating under the assumption that we'd fixed quite a lot of that. Smooth this out some, and then smooth the other side out some, in an accent that is not entirely authentic. And then we'll link this up. Let's see, where are we? You will notice I've got a whole slew of new road stuffs going on. I'll go through those when I find an appropriate use for it. I don't have that yet, but I will have at some point. Actually, before I do that, I want to continue this up in a straight line. Now, this is a little bit of wishful thinking on my part, but if I can get all of this, you know, to be deemed build worthy by the AI, then we've got ourselves a party. Right, and then we need to head over to hit that, which means I need some kind of bridge. Yeah, if we go like that, it's the simplest of bridges. There you go. See, no complaints, just making it happen. Although we do want country road by this point. Nice bit of fast country road, and we'll stick with the steel bridge. Lovely. All connected up. Well, I couldn't tell you, but I'm hoping that this offers a slightly shorter route. It offers a slightly different route. Well, it will have saved some time there, and that's something. Obviously, a cut across here will save yet more time, so I'm going to implement that before we press on. I don't want country. I want in-town road. Where are we? Large, medium. Maybe we're happier with a bit of medium. Well, that's happy-esque, but it's not that elegant style of junction I was hoping for. Don't put too much of a lump in the existing road, if you'd be so kind. There we go. That'll do the trick. Et voila, as they say in France. Right, stick with me. We're going to do a little bit more development, and it's sure to be expensive. Now then, the most straightforward, or the most obvious thing to work on today would probably be to continue the extension out of Thun over towards Bern of passenger services. This would allow me to do all kinds of clever things. But the problem I've got is that it's going to cost a couple of quid to do so. We'll have to route under that bridge, cheap. Do something about this lump, less cheap, unless we avoid it, less fast. Before heading over this way, and then we're either bridging over, expensive, tunneling under, expensive, or I don't know, plan C, whatever that may be. But at the present time, Bern's passenger station is all the way over here. Now I'll probably leave that as a separate station, and work in some kind of horseshoe route over to where we put a secondary passenger station before we head out to Volum by Bern here. I mean, I could get through the middle of there. No, actually, no. I believe I placed a terminal when we set this up. Nope, not this time. Oh, look at the. Let's price this up, shall we? Yeah. That's probably a couple of million. Bit more, swing out that way. So we're not going to get a lot of change out of 5 million if we're lucky, and therefore I think leaving this as a branch station is probably the way to go. Maybe I'll extend it to have multiple platforms, but that's a branch station, and forever may it be. The sensible thing to do here might be to end up over there, so to swing round from over here at Thun, swing out and round, and then swing back in again over here. I don't like it much, but I need a solution to that, and regardless of what that solution is, it ain't going to come cheap. So I need something that is relatively inexpensive, not least of all because the locomotive itself, or whatever I end up sticking on it, is not going to be a bargain. It's going to be the opposite of a bargain. It's going to be quite expensive. And at some point, a route. I mean, the simplest route I could do today would be to put a branch on here, stick it over onto the passenger line, multiple line up this passenger approach here, and then everybody's happy. Hooray, hooray! But again, that lacks what we in the trade call ambition. So we want something ambitious and cheap, which may just be at odds at each other. And Interlaken, I'm looking at you. You've been my focus for a little while. But I reckon we can get to Sanon. We've got this to bridge over, but based on the cuts that I've had to make through there, that should be quite doable. So we could bring Sanon up to the modern age with its very own rail station. And frankly, I like that. That's good. Okay, well, that's what we're going to do. So first off, let's get a station in, because that's always a solid declaration of intent. Now, I'm going to put a 4-tracker in. We're going to double-track it from the get-go. I want it to be fairly long. What have we got going on here? Oh, that's the Zephyr. And we've got a hindcall. That's a fine-looking hindcall. Look at that livery. There we go. Right. Let's not be distracted by such things, friends. No good will come of it. Let's put a second street connection. And you know what? I'm going to make this 5 tracks, and we'll use one of them, possibly, in the future for a through track. Now then, let's have a look at what we got going on. I think we're going to want just a slight bit of curvature to this. So that I can do, I don't know, something like that. Just to make the approach a little bit less severe. Now maybe we build it out here, which, I mean, it goes against my standard operating process. Well, no, that's not true. The standard operating process is to spend far too much money on something I could have done quite simply. Right, okay, anyway, I've committed to that. Yeah, I know, we're not hanging around. I'm getting on with it. I want to get this done in a sensible amount of time. We'll pull a parallel road there because we know the AI likes building alongside the rail. Do the same with that. When I say parallel, what I mean is not parallel. And then stick that in there, and we'll get some kind of bus depot station kind of deal going on there. Sorry, pal, your house is forfeit. It happens to the best of us. Well, it happens to the AI quite a lot. Right, I'm going to pause the game. We're going to get through here, and we're going to get over there. So I'm going to build track out beyond the station so that I'm ready for future expansion. And we'll keep it all hemmed together for the moment. Right, stick another one inside there. You might be going, why have you done that? Why have you stuck a bit of track in there that you've no real intention of using? And it's a spacing thing. Despite the fact that that's not made for great spacing. So, in other words, let's bulldoze that. I thought that was going to look good, but it didn't. You'd think I'd have tried that before. I know I tried it with ballast previously, but and nothing good came of that. But there you go. And then I'll probably merge all of these into 2 tracks, one up, one down at some point. But for the moment, all I'm trying to do is just to get it to exit the station so that the AI's building imperative works in a way that I'm comfortable with. Or rather, works in a way that means I don't have to bulldoze it all later on. I mean, I might be a fan of rampant bulldozery, but that doesn't mean that I seek to do it. No, look, come on, connect up, play the game. There you go, marvellous. Right, there we go. That wasn't the cheapest thing I could have done, but I've done it now, so it cost what it did. Now let's complete the road off here. Something like that ought to do the trick. Hopefully, we're leaving just enough space for the AI to plumb in a few houses, because it does make a massive difference having houses that are very close to the station. It almost guarantees you that the route's going to be profitable. Let me get rid of that, and then run you continuously down here. Same with you there, Buster. Right, and then the big challenge, and this might be one of the largest spans I've ever tried to get across. We're going to have to go... Well, the odds of us landing there are remote. However, what we might be able to... Keep your fingers crossed. No. Surely not. Okay, right, well, I managed to get a connection there, and I didn't think I would. But, we'll take it. And to celebrate, I'll put something duly modern in there to say that, that's a fine feat of modern bridge engineering. And yes, I am going to delete that chap's house. I don't want to delete 2 houses. One will suffice. We'll make that a nice straightforward connection. Bash that all the way up there. Stick you in here. I'll probably have to remove that later on, but it's all good right now. And then what? I don't know. We'll continue out that way a bit. Bring this one in over here. Sling that under there. You can tell that a massive amount of due care and attention is going into this. But frankly, I want it just to be workable. I haven't really set a town that is going to be, you know, master engineering. Let's go. What about like that? Too much slope? No, surely not. Well, okay. Wherever you're too much sloping, it doesn't like it. Here we go, and we'll take that out over there and form a sort of triangular connection. Well, you say sort of. That's a triangular connection. Right, okay, good. Well, that was straightforward. So what I'm going to aim to do with this track, and if we turn the contours on for a sec, we'll see if I've got any massive expenses ahead of me, is we will run a passenger route up this way. We're going to go over the top of the goods line. Yep, that should be fine. Over the top of the goods line. I'd love to skirt the river again, so I probably will. And then we'll come in and we'll try and stay on the same height band as we come around here into the station. It's like it was meant to be. Now, I haven't decided which tracks do we want to use here. I think we'll go straight for the main line. So straight for, what's that, platforms 3 and 4 as we look at them now. That'll work. Okay, grand. Bring me my track, get rid of the catenary. Platforms 3 and 4, that's the middle two platforms. This is going to need a bit more reorganizing once I start getting the amount of traffic volume up. But for now, this should be entertaining. Pretty straightforward. Now, where's the height band? I think it's this middle one here. Certainly looks like it might be. There's a lot of trees in the way, but we want to make this scenic, so the trees can just deal with it. All right, there we go. And if we go as far as there, that's put the starting of a kink into my line, which is what we want. Right, and then, as we come around here, I want it to be going straight about here. So the reason for building this section in isolation, and those of you who've been watching a while know, but I feel obliged to give you a minor insight into what the hell am I thinking. And the reason for doing so is so that I can connect the two pieces and basically make a reasonably gentle curve from it. And I need to take that back a bit in order to reasonably gentle that curve a little better. So there we go. I mean, previously it was dropping to 160. Now it's dropping to 259. That's much more acceptable. In the late game, I'll have trains that can exceed that kind of speed, and I'll encourage them to do so. But at the moment, 259 is not something I have to worry about. And to be honest, it's only really going to be a factor if the TFV, TGV, whatever the game has decided to call it for licensing reasons, manages to get up to top lick, which I have only seen happen in other people's builds. I've never managed to make it work myself. Okay, good. Right, now, there's our target right about there. You still making that out? Yeah. So, this is all theoretically on one plane, or on one level. So now we want to get a bridge over this with as little pain as possible. Let's make it cheap. Is ballast cheaper? It is. Okay, good. This is a nifty little trick that I inherited from the likeable and charming Mr. Skystorm, whereby you can create space either side of a bit of track in order to get a bridge in there by sticking some track down either side. It's as elegant a solution as it is simple. You know, I've been threatening to flatten this out for a while, and now is the time. Otherwise, I'll stick my bridge in, and I'll have some some fairly ugly trenches still dug into the... I mean, look at this. You know, I'm surprised Greenpeace haven't turned up and, you know, threatened to shut me down with their rubber dinghy before I point out that we're on land and therefore their rubber dinghy isn't going to do an awful lot of good. Right, okay, we're going to come in on what's it, 2 and 3 here, I think. And that means we're going to want a bridge that goes a little... give me this. No, give me high speed, but I don't want electrification. A little like that. There you go. I don't want you to intersect the existing track. No, no. We have not quite given ourselves enough space. All right, maybe we're going to need to triple up this track. There we are. A bit of that. And a bit more. And a bit more. Right, and then get rid of that. Now, there's also a reasonable chance that at some point I will double track this section or more. Although it's far more likely that what I'll do is I'll just increase the size of the station. I'm quite happy to have a single track goods service because as long as it gets the job done, who really cares? Check your target from here. So about there. It's going to be on a curve to some extent, but a bit like that. What say you? No, sir. You say no, sir. Okay. What if I give you a bit more room to play with? I'd quite like that to be a bridge. Just so you know. All right, what if I give you loads of space? No, you're insisting on putting a bunch of banked stuff in there. All right, we're going to have to start it earlier then. What if we start all the way back at the station? This way lies madness. And take it across there to about here. Okay, now that's a nice gentle curve. I've given you loads of space. There we are. That's what it's going to take. And it's going to cost me 310 grand. That's pretty reasonable, although I want to go a bit faster than that. No, you're still limited to 120. Give me a higher speed limit here. 297. That's the stuff. That's got the whiff of the future about it. As much as the future has a whiff. Right, now, where's the other end? It's coming out of these trees. Alright, okay. I don't think we'll follow... Do we want to follow... I do want to follow the coastline directly. Alright, see, now it's started ramping the price up a bit. I think we'll stick with that. That looks pretty good as an approach goes. Does it go too... It doesn't go too high. It looks pretty fetching. Sold. £500,000. But it's £500,000 for a sniff of the future. For a mighty fine looking bridge. Let's hope this isn't too expensive. I particularly like the way it entirely missed the specially gouged out bit of land that we'd stuck there, which I now have to make look plausible. Come on, apply the plausible gun. There you go. I'll dress this up at some point and then it will look even more plausible, but not today. Okay, right, that looks pretty good. Let's connect that up to the station. I have now dispatched quite a bit of my slush fund, but I have got about another 10 million quid's worth of loan available. And that's unless I start running the game. If I start running the game, I'll make even more cash. But I like to pause it while I'm building so that time doesn't march on too swiftly while I'm just mucking about with track. There you go, do a bit of that. How do we feel about that? We've got slow to 277. We've got a bit of a lump in the track. In fact, it's lumping all the way along, which we shouldn't need to do. Why for you lump all the way along? I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but I think we can do that on the cheap. Or at least, I think we can do it without any major groundworks being involved. There you go, we'll go around as far as here. That'll keep the speed relatively consistent. And actually, you know, when you're dealing with the flat, a route of this length doesn't actually cost too much to put together. If you just bash it straight there, you are going to pay through the nose. No, we've got a speed trap there as we whip around the corner. So 173, that's, what are we talking there? We're talking just over 100 miles per hour. And we're going to have trains that can exceed that pretty quickly. So let's see if we can get round while maintaining a bit more momentum. Sorry, trees. Don't worry, I'll make it up to you with the tree gun. Right, 230, 287, it's better. There will still be a little bit of tail off in speed as they make it round that corner, but overall it shouldn't make too much of a difference. And there's enough acceleration and deceleration space either side so that the train can still hit its potential. Right, okay, good. Let's tidy this up a little bit. There we go. If I can find something that looks like a tree, there we go. Mash that in there a bit as well. And then obviously we're going to go back and bulldoze all the ones that look like they're clipping the rail. I'm trying to use, I'm sure you've noticed, but I'm trying to go almost conifer exclusivity for this particular route. It feels like it's appropriate, despite the fact that once you're not on the peaks of the Alps, on the slopes of the Alps, let's say, far greater biological diversity is possible. But I'm trying to keep a singular aesthetic at play. Right, there we go. What do you know? That's all connected up. I'm going to need some points at either end so that we can switch tracks. That'll do. This is all temporary. I mean, we're not going to get to the point of assigning trains to platforms, which is one of the features of the new update, until we've got... oh, hello, bold trailblazers. Until we've got something. What's the thing that I was thinking of there? Until we've really maxed out the amount of trains and routes that we've got going through some of these stations. How much can I shorten that? Because more is better at this point. That'll do. Stone it. Hit it. Excellent. There you go. The bold trailblazers in questions are people that are just, they've figured out how to build some houses right close to the station, despite not having a connection to the rest of the town. It's good because it means, what's going on here? Seriously, people question my town planning abilities, and they're probably right to do so. But when you leave the AI to it, it's like, madness has set in. Now, I'm going to need more space than that under there. So, I think what we need to do, and what I'm talking about here is, if you look at the number of potential platforms we've got, and I'm going to aim to use all of them, I want to make sure I've got enough under bridge space to get all of those tracks out, and that looks like it'll do the job. But we either plan this in now, or we forcibly remove people from their homes later on. Plan B there is the one we don't want to do, just in case you're curious. No, not that. It was the tick button you were looking for. There you go. Can we get a road under here, do you think? All right, well, that's pretty marvellously parallel there. Let's do that. Yeah, that's nice. And then we'll run that up to the station itself, where I've run out of cash. Hello, Mr. Bank Manager, thank you. Leaves me 9.5 million. I don't think I've got enough to buy a train. Oh, woe is me. I'll figure something out. Don't worry, we'll find a way to get a train running. The ideal would be that the Flying Scotsman, which I do need to change. I've now got some appropriate coaches for it, so I need to change that. But the ideal would be to buy another Scotsman and have the pair of them rattling up and down here, making me a fairly handsome chunk of change from passenger revenues. But that might have to wait. Well, I'll have to price it up. Okay, right, good. Signals. We need some signals for spacing purposes. Let's go. What are you using there? No, you're using something weird and bizarre and exciting. And this is not the weird and bizarre and exciting signalling episode. This is the, get some more stuff built episode. So the nature of this route, I mean, at the moment we're talking Sanon to Interlaken to Locarno. I'm pretty sure it's Locarno. And then that, I mean, that's quite a meaty length of the map that we've travelled there, and I could probably get 6, 7 trains on that route and maintain very high profitability. If we have a quick peek at the profitability of routes, you'll already see that. All right, the Intercity here is banging it out. 2 million profit last year. Or this year, or whatever the calculation it does there. That's not to be sniffed at, and that's taking Interlaken up to Locarno, and it's almost as far again to get out to Sanon. This is a hell of a route, and if I can easily get a couple more trains on there and still have space to spare. Speaking of which, where is it? All right, first one to spot it wins a cookie. That's right. I think I might have spotted it first. No, false spottage. Where are we? Here we go, Intercity. So at the moment we're running the. Let's get this rolling. I've got the track built. Now we're into let's buy ourselves a train and let's tinker with the route a little bit. I was going to talk about something. Yes, we're good. At the moment I'm running Russian coaches on here. Follow along so I can tinker with this while we have something to look at. And I want to change that up, which is obviously, that's going to be an expense that I don't necessarily need. Right. It's paused because it's thinking about, oh, really? You've got a lot of mods installed. And I've been threatening to actually put the mod list up for a little while. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put the mod list up. Right, 4 million for one of those. And then I should have some nice Great Western carriages that have recently joined the connection. Here we go, GWR top line, or a brake coach even. 129 kilometers an hour. We're about to have another discussion whereby we keep the Russian coaches on there, because this is fine. Everything's fine here. I thought that did 160, but it doesn't. 120. GWR top line. Carry 16 passengers. Best part of £1 million each. Flippin' heck. We're currently running. No, what are we running on there at the moment? It's these ones, right? They do 110. 16, 700 grand. Oh no, these top lights are much better. Right, okay, and 16. We've got a 92 capacity, so 32 there, 64 there, and add another 32. That's 96. 9.18 million per vehicle. It's a bargain. I mean, I'm going to do this anyway. Oh, if I'm quick on replace now, 2.4 I need. Crumbs. Borrow cash, yes. Because if it's coming into a stop, it will do the change at the station. That said, if it comes into the station, it's going to pay off like Billio, so that's all good. I dislike all this electrification while we're still running steam. Don't get me wrong, I'm quite happy to run electrics later on, but right now, that just feels like, oh, really? Really, we've had to go all modernity now. There you go, 300 grand right there. Have you changed the coaches? Feel like doing so? I did push the button. You did deduct the price for doing so. There she goes, that's the stuff. Right, let's have a look. There we go. That looks a bit better. That's more in keeping with what we were expecting there. Now, can I pick out a passenger? Oh, they've even got separate compartments in there. Well played there, modeler. Good work. Right. So that actually now has a higher top speed, which means it will make more money. That's also a good thing. So we now need to change the route. So we go Interlaken, Locarno, and back again, and it pays quite handsomely, and that's that's a good place to start. But we're now going to figure out exactly how we go somewhere else. So from Interlaken, we want to go out to Sanon, which is way over here. I need to set up an internal commuter route for Sanon, but we'll deal with that. Don't worry. And then let's make sure it's properly platformed as we come back in the opposite direction. Back to Interlaken and then out to Locarno. Excellent. So that's going to hurt its profitability for a little bit because obviously Sanon isn't going to pick up the pace for a short amount of time. But once the train gets up to the other end of the route, I will not that train. This is just a little local chugger. Where are we? There we are. There it comes. Brace for a passing shot. Oh yes. That's the stuff right there. That's yeah. That's hold on. Let's give chase. This feels like it's worthy of a bit of Colonel Cam, if I can line it up correctly. There we go. No, it's too fast for Colonel Cam. Ah, this is a disaster. See, in order to do this tracking camera stuff, you have to try and match your scrolling speed approximately to that of the... there we are. That's the stuff. To that of the locomotive in question, the train in question. And then in doing so, you create quite a nice trailing camera. Oh, yeah. I know. I'm making it sound like it's incredibly important, and whereas in fact it's just me holding down D. Brum brum, which is not the noise that trains make. Yes. Right, fabulous. Now, once that gets to the other end, hopefully I'll have the cash to buy another one of those. I'm very, very doubtful that I'll be able to, but let's try this anyway. And that will help me reach greater heights of profit in a short amount of time. Right, Mr. Scotsman, there you are. Now, it would help if I was... Because if we want to dispatch this thing when it's at the other end, then I possibly ought to be maintaining some kind of visual contact. Right, let's max out alone. We know it's 10.2 and change. 218, I think it was. Or 248, maybe. Where's it got to? It's here. Right, there we are. Okay, right, so I'm going to buy one of these, unless I've already just... No, I haven't bought one yet. Right, buy one of those. And then, when we come to the wagon side of things, we will plug in... What does the brake van... No, the brake van's cheap, but it only adds an extra 8 passengers. Might be fun to do, though. Especially if we wanted authenticity. And as I routinely point out that, authenticity is not really my thing. I like the looks of trains, but I don't go to the extent of demanding complete realism, which is probably why I've got classic British rail stock pull-in Russian coaches, and then we've got Americans around as well, and it's all just general madness. See this as kind of a nexus of all things train engineering, if you will. Right, okay, the Intercity's picking up 50... It's already got 57 to take to Sanon. I find that quite hard to believe, but I do believe it anyway. Now, when we reach our destination, as we surely will, we will set the second one in motion. Anyway, that's going to wrap up our progress for today. We will start next time by adding a passenger route, a surface passenger route to Sanon, and I'll probably play with the street waypointing to see if we can do something interesting. I might even use trams, which would render street waypointing utterly redundant. But hey ho, these things are these things. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. Throw a like at this one if you've enjoyed it. I'll be back in the near future with more of the same. So you're going to want to stick the old mouse cursor over the old subscription button there and give it a good old click. Make sure you click so that it says you are subscribed, and that way when we do more of the same, you'll get some kind of notification that it's happening, and then you can tune in and despair afresh, repent anew. Something else along those lines. I'm filling time so we can get to the station. Hold on. You're seeing what I'm seeing, right? You see this? Oh, how bad is it? It's bad enough. Oh, flipping heck. Right, okay, I'm going to need to fix that. Basically, that is a kink in the track there. We do not hold with a kink in the track. It is not how we run around these parts. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. Brace for departure. The Intercity. Go. Go and watch it. Cheerio.